A very important thing happened recently, a couple of days ago, for astronomy, for science. The 3i Atlas was passing over Mars, so it was a perfect prime opportunity to point every single camera at this third interstellar object coming into our solar system. Okay, it was a perfect opportunity to get the information, the data that we needed, and we did. However, something very strange happened. The live feed for NASA just cut off. And I was watching videos about this thing, right? And I was like, surely, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Really? It did it? Like, really? The most important time to get information and the feed is cut off? Well, they probably got the information, but the feed to us cut off. So I had to look into it. I was like, is this true? And this is just the one weird thing that's going on about it. There's others which I'm going to be talking about, all right? So I had to look into this. I was like, did the live feed actually cut off? And according to Grok, yes, there was a NASA-related live stream, or at least one featuring NASA data and observations. It says here. And apparently, yes, there was a NASA-related live stream, or at least one featuring NASA data observations of the comet's activity, focused on its recent closest approach to Mars around October 3rd, 2025. This was captured using instruments from NASA's Mars orbiters and rovers, such as the Mars Reconnaissance and Orbiter MRO and Perseverance rover, with public streams and discussions peaking on October 5th. A full archived stream from the event is available on YouTube, showing real-time tracking and analysis. It did stop recently, likely on October 5th, 2025, coinciding with a US government shutdown that halted NASA's updates. Data syncing from spacecraft, e.g., no new MRO data since October 2nd, and public feeds this has fueled online speculation, but it's attributed to shutdown rather than any anomaly with the comet itself. Observations continue via non-US assets like ESA's Mars Express, with potential data releases expected soon. So yes, NASA's feed did shut down, but they're saying, well, look, it's also being viewed from other live streams as well. So please don't speculate, don't come up with some wild explanations. But it is strange that that feed was cut down by the government. It was like a government shutdown. That is odd. Now, 17 hours ago, Avi Loeb, the person that has been talking about this, the scientist has been talking about this, just put on his blog the interpretation of the strip in the new image of 3i Atlas from the Perseverance rover camera. So basically, there's this photo going around at the moment of the 3i Atlas literally looking like a strip, like a rod, okay, which is making people go absolutely crazy, saying this no longer looks like a comet. This doesn't look like a comet at all, right? Now, this is his explanation of why it looks like what it is, okay? So he says here, the image shows an elongated strip which is about 4 times longer than it is wide. The strip raised questions on social media as to whether 3i Atlas is a large cylindrical object. I was asked for my opinion about this puzzling image by Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, and so I immediately worked out the following numbers. Basically, he goes into the ins and outs of the nav cam, okay? And basically, because of however it's built and the time it actually took to take the photo, over a space of time, you've basically got a stacking of images that is now created the comet to look longer. I saw these and I was like, why is that familiar? Why does it look like that? And it reminded me of the picture on NASA website. It reminded me of this picture here. And I've got it here. So this is the three-eye atlas, and these are stars. And again, with the long, let's just call it long exposure. Instead of stacking the pictures, let's call it long exposure. Because of the long exposure, these are actually stars, right? And the camera at that moment in time was tracking the three-eye atlas. So hence why the three-eye atlas is not like a long streak, but the stars are. So the camera's like that, tracking. The stars are moving around it, but the three-eye atlas is stationary. Hence why you've got these here. Okay. So I just thought I'd throw that in there anyway. So that explains that. It's not a long rod. Okay. However, I'm going to jump back to that in a minute, because there's a YouTuber that has actually taken a snapshot and not a 30-second. And this is the shape that he's managed to find. This is really peculiar, because he first thought when he saw it, this is odd. This seems like an artifact, right? Listen to this. The YouTuber is Dobsonia. Now, please make sure you go to his channel, subscribe, and do the thing, because, I mean, this guy's telescope is phenomenal, and it's managed to capture incredible pictures of three-eye atlas, man. Like millions and millions of miles away from us. This is incredible. But what's even more credible is what he's captured and the shape of this thing. This is strange. Take a look.
The second day, I said, this is an artifact, for sure. I will clean this today, and I thought I will clean this, will disappear, and tomorrow, today, I will show them, well, it was an artifact. But everybody from the mainstream, he said to the people that was posting the picture, he said it was an artifact, it's not an alien, and people just don't care.
And so just to recap there, the first day he produced this image, right? He publicly said to people, it's an artifact. So you got one half of the community saying, oh my God, look at the shape of this thing. Oh my God, this is absolutely crazy. And then the other people say, well, no, hang on a second. He says it's an artifact. Shut up. Don't listen to them. It's an artifact. But now this is the following day when he's tried to find this anomaly, find this artifact, get rid of it, clear it, whatever. He's found out that it's not.
Today I'm watching this and I don't know, man. I don't know what to say to you. Because it's cleaner. The image, it's cleaner. Because I cleaned it. I cleaned. That object is like this. I cleaned this. I unscrew. I cleaned inside. Both sides. I took this part at the top. I cleaned. I took the diagonal, which is something that I have there, like this. It does a diagonal with mirror inside and some crazy stuff, lens. I was there carefully cleaning. I put that in the diagonal and I cleaned all of that. I put this in the bottom of the telescope tube that was without anything. And I tried to clean everything with this pressure. I cleaned the top of it. And I cleaned the camera. The sensor, everything. I just didn't open the camera, all the camera, to go inside, because when we open, it can grab more dust. And it was clean, man. I will
now, knowing a little bit about cameras, DSLRs, you know, cleaning the sensor is more than enough. Like, that is the last thing. You can clean the lens, like at the front, right? You can take the lens off and clean it. I mean, obviously he's not talking about a DSLR, right? But the final thing is like the sensor that captures the actual image, right? So it brings me on to the next part of this video, which is a little bit early. I've had to sort of scan through his stream here. It goes on for 2.5 hours. So I suggest you go and check it out, right?
With this tail here, It has a tail. Some people were saying that it looks like that fish. You know.
He's picked out a tail on this thing. Now, in second, he's going to enhance it. Has this comet thing got a tail?
What's the name in English? Let me check. Ray? Could it be the ray?
Stingray.
Can you zoom? Yes, I will. Let me just first get an overall picture and balance this. Man, but yesterday... And I cleaned everything.
You can see the tail here.
I'll pull the picture. I think it was more here, no? And we had another artifact here that disappeared. I cleaned everything. I think we notice more a cleaner view. Man, don't tell me that... Hold on, let me pull the picture.
So he's picked out, which you can see here, like a tail of some sort. Maybe. I mean, you know, you could sort of say that this is a tail. You could say that that's a tail, you know. And he does zoom in and enhance it a little bit more. And I've got to be honest with you, it does look like a tail. The next part is very strange. Because what he's doing now, he's thinking, hang on a second, this was over here yesterday. He was thinking it was in a different location. And this brings me on to the other theory, or the other idea that people have been going on the internet saying that the 3i Atlas has stopped. Reports are that the 3i Atlas has stopped near Mars.
It could be the same position.
So he's realized that it's the same position. It's the same position. It's not moved. But what has moved is the angle of this. This arrow with the tail is pointing this way. Yeah? And then this one is pointing upwards more. So it's actually rotated.
It's pointing up today. You see, that looks like it has a tail here or something. But this was the other day. We'll wait, because this is doing its job. Thank you.
So you can see why people have been talking about how this 3i Atlas stopped. Now, it is strange that what he's picking up, he's claimed to be the 3i Atlas. I mean, I don't know, right? I'm assuming somebody with a big-ass telescope like that knows what he's looking at in the sky. I'm assuming. However, I'm about to buy a telescope. I'm like a effing great big telescope, size of this. I'm going to put it in the front back garden. I ain't got a bloody clue, right? But we're going to go live streaming on it, so subscribe. It didn't move. However, it shifted. It rotated. Now, is that because he did actually open it up and clean the lens and all that sort of stuff? So whatever's in there maybe didn't get cleaned, but it did rotate slightly, right? I don't know. But it's odd. Now, there has been somebody that's digitally enhanced using AI this image, and you can see what AI thinks that this comet would look like, all right? And it's here.
Yes, it's the infamous 3-eye atlas, and it just seems like the closer it gets, the more unexplainable it becomes. You know, the interstellar object making its way towards us that professors and media outlets are all insisting might be alien technology? Well, a literal YouTuber has taken probably the clearest photo of the object yet, somehow better than anything NASA has shown us so far. And let me tell you, this thing does not look like a comet.
I mean, AI's had to break some sweat to bring out that, right? Like, what's this tail bit all about, right? This is where it's decided to create the tail, it looks as though. I'm not too sure. So, did the 3-eye atlas stop? According to this YouTuber, it did. Was that actually the 3-eye atlas that he was looking at, though? I'm guessing that he's been tracking that for a while with his telescope. Is that why NASA's feeds just stopped? There's so many questions, right? But then it doesn't explain how all of the other live feeds were watching this thing. So, it's up to you to decide. I'm just trying to show you what I've gathered and the facts and figures that I've managed to find. Okay, but I think that what's really interesting, grasping hold of the idea of alien life, is an interview that Avi Loeb was on. And something unexpected happened in this interview that really excited a lot of people. Okay? Listen to this.
Now, conventional scientists say that it's just a comet. Of course they're going to say that. But it's doing things that comets just don't do. No comet we've ever seen. So what is it? Joining us now to answer that question, Harvard astrophysicist Dr. Avi Loeb, and member of the House Oversight Committee, and someone who took part in the UAP hearings just last month, Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. Gentlemen, great to have you back on. Dr. Loeb, I want to start with you. October 3rd is an important date in this 3-eye atlas saga. Why is today so important, and what are we now learning about this thing?
For a simple reason, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And we are about to get the highest resolution images of 3-eye atlas when it comes within 29 million kilometers from Mars. There are several orbiters, one that was deployed by NASA around Mars, and it has a camera. This camera is called HiRISE, that will be able to resolve 3-eye atlas with a 30 kilometer per pixel resolution. So we will learn much more about it in the coming days, and hopefully the data will be out soon. Science is fun because we can learn from evidence. So far, there are 7 anomalies of this unusual object. The size is very large. It's larger of all the size of Manhattan Island, about 1,000 times more massive than the previous interstellar comet, about 33 billion tons, at least that mass. There was a jet coming out of this object towards the sun. Unlike a cometary tail that usually goes away from the sun, there was an unusual chemical composition containing mostly nickel without iron. There was a polarization of light never seen before for comets. And the trajectory of 3-eye atlas is aligned with the plane of the planets around the sun. The arrival time was fine-tuned to come very close to Mars today, and later to Jupiter and Venus. And and also I noticed that the arrival direction of 3-eye atlas was coincident with the direction from where we got the most powerful radio signal back in 1977 that was called the WOW signal, still unresolved.
From Sagittarius.
Now this is where the bombshell hits. Very soon.
And it comes from that direction, although we don't know the plane, but it comes from that direction in the solar system. So basically, Congressman, I know you just heard all of that. Dr. Loeb wrote the UN about this, saying this should be looked into. We're going to have the best pictures we've had yet from Mars of this thing, unless the government hides them from us, which they could do. Have you been briefed on this, Congressman?
I have not. And I tell you, one of the reasons I admire so much Dr. Loeb is what he said. We can learn from science. He's not one of these arrogant jerks out there that looks down upon everybody else. He actually enjoys explaining it to folks like myself. He's a hero in this movement. And he's also a pretty brave guy because he takes some pretty tough stands with his scientific data.
I want to stop there because I need to back that up as well, what Tim said. Because there are so many people online saying that Avi Loeb is suggesting that this is an alien craft. And, you know, he's the one responsible for... No, I have to back Avi Loeb up here because he's not saying that. He's thrown out the possibility and the thought process of let's not rule it out. I'm not saying it is, let's not rule it out. Remember, he's classified this between 0 and 10, right? 10 being alien, 0 being not. He's classified it as a 4. And he's not saying, oh, it could be an alien, it might not be an alien. He's saying that it's not got the specific normal characteristics of a comet. There's something else which is very strange. Hence, you know, his 7 anomalies that he's been talking about.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that we need to be briefed on. You got to wonder what our scientific community, NASA, and all the rest are doing right now. I realize there's a shutdown going on, but this is occurring before the shutdown, and
and this thing is heading our direction, Congressman.
Yeah,
I just want to ask you about one other issue while I have you. Sorry to cut you off, sir. You received intelligence that suggests that there are perhaps deep water alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Can you go into more detail? How long have they been here? Where are they?
Well, I'm extrapolating all this with my East Tennessee vernacular. So we've got five or six deep water areas of our oceans. We actually know more about the surface of the moon than we do about these areas. And these are areas where we have a high frequency of UFO or UAP sightings. We've had naval folks have told me pretty high up that they've actually tracked these things. Now, we have stuff that can go underwater probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, maybe something a little faster that the Chinese haven't stole from us yet. And we've tracked things big as a football field going 200 miles an hour. Now, I realize in the water you extrapolate that to knots and all that, but just for good old East Tennessee common sense, 200 miles an hour is something the size of a football field. And we don't know what it is. And these are in these areas. So, yeah, there's something going on there. And whether it's something that's been here for millennial or whatever, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm kind of like Dr. Loeb. I love to study this kind of stuff. It's the scientific material there he's the one that disclosed some things that were found that were extraterrestrial in our oceans. And, he's brave enough, I believe, to come forward with those. So I'm looking forward to some more talks about this. But I think I've kicked the hornet's nest because it was just in a casual conversation with a blogger, and I discussed it. It wasn't in a classified setting, so I could talk about it. But I always remember the last thing this one high-ranking official told me as he left my office. He was right close to me as I am to my phone in my barn right now, and he said, "Tim, they're real."
Dr. Loeb, hopefully these images come out soon and we find out what this thing is.
That is the bombshell that was dropped when talking about the 3i Atlas. So that leads me on to another video. This is the information I found out so far. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it answers some of the questions. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care. Bye-bye.